Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in this episode, I want to share 5 tips with you that will help you be more successful in 2021. Let's get to it. In this episode, I want to share some of the things that I've been thinking about to really kind of dial in my planning for 2021. Every year, I spend a considerable amount of time putting together my annual plan for the upcoming year and making sure that I've got my proverbial ducks in a row to hit the ground running, to get some momentum, to focus on the things that I want to focus on. So I wanted to share with you 5 things that I am really kind of dialed in on at the moment. The first is focus. I see a lot of people who they'll dabble in any number of things. They'll run a Facebook ad and it doesn't convert, and so immediately they abandon Facebook ads. Or they'll start a podcast and do 3 episodes, and because they don't have a podcast that ranks on iTunes or something like that, they're ready to move to the next thing. They chase shiny objects and they don't really hone in and become great at any one thing. So the first tip I would say is focus. Commit to doing things at a really high level and understand that you're probably going to have to be bad at something or experience very limited success with something before you're going to hit pay dirt and you're going to reap the rewards. I mean, from my perspective, you're not going to be great at anything worth being great at unless you've earned it. So you're probably going to have to be pretty mediocre at it first. So focus on what is important. Focus on things that you're going to commit to doing at a high level. I know that's something that I'm really honed in on for 2021, and I would recommend you be as well. The second thing I would say is adhere to the 80-20 rule. If you review your previous year or 2 years, I mean, you can even go back 3, 4, 5 years if you like, you're going to see that certain things really stood out above everything else and drove your success. There are going to be things that really were the golden ticket, if you will. I mean, maybe it was a way that you marketed. Maybe it was a referral campaign that you had. Maybe it was a particular type of offering that you delivered. And it's easy for us to incrementally kind of drift away from that, especially after us kind of having to cobble together things through the pandemic just to get by in some cases. So my suggestion is really pick, like when it comes to marketing, pick 2 to 4 things and commit to those things and kind of revert back to what I just talked about with focus. Really commit to those 2 to 4 things and say, okay, I'm going to be the best in my respective market or in my respective category at these things. And I'm not going to get distracted by all the varied opportunities that are out there, all the different tactics that people are recommending. Maybe they all work, but there's only so much of each of us to go around. So we can't spread ourselves too thin. And besides, even if we did, then we'd be giving up a lot of what we want from our business anyway, and some of that's freedom. So take the 80-20 rule to heart and don't try to do all things. Really narrow and commit, whether it comes to the attract unit and dialing in on 2 to 4 marketing tactics, the convert unit, really honing in on a single sales process, or the deliver unit. Pick 1 or 2 deliverables and say, hey, this is where we're going to be the best in our respective market. So that's 2. Number 3, do great work. Now, that seems probably a little bit cliche, but bear with me. When I think of doing great work being a business growth tactic, not just sustaining your business, I think of it like this. I think that if you're going to be delivering a service, the difference between doing enough to retain your clients and sustain your business versus having a service that is referral worthy and people spread the word about and people are really becoming advocates for, the difference in effort on your part isn't that much, but the difference in business growth is exponential. If you're going to offer a program, commit to that program being the best in its respective category in your market. And now you've got something that people talk about. You've got something that's easy to ask for referrals from your clients who are part of it. You've got something that, you don't have to worry about there being a revolving door. When a new business comes to town, the shiny object kind of comes into play. You don't have to worry about people jumping ship and going to try that out. So when it comes to your service, that's doing great work. When it comes to marketing, doing great work is kind of the opposite of what I hear people say a lot, which is, I just need to get some content out, which the world doesn't need more content. There's more information than there's ever been by many multiples. There's so much information that people can't really sift through it. So if you're going to put something out there, make sure that it's great. Make sure that it's so good that you can get some more mileage from it. Make sure that it's something that, hey, if I write something or film a video that is somewhat timeless, that I can reuse, it's going to save you time later too, because you have this asset that you can put into play later. Or maybe if it's written content, you can piece multiple ones together and come up with a lead magnet, a special report, a book. If it's videos, you might be able to come up with a series and use it in a different fashion. So if you do great work with the content that you're putting out there, with the attract unit and convert unit material that I talk about so often, that's stuff that you're not only going to get a better response, you're going to stand out and be attractive to your target market, but you're also going to be able to save time later on because you're going to be able to reuse it time and time again. The fourth thing is making sure that we're always taking action. Again, it seems very, it seems very much common sense, but a lot of this stuff is. If you're taking action, moving towards your goal, it doesn't really matter if you're taking a small step or a giant leap, you're making progress. You're winning the moment. You're winning the day. And so many people, they think in terms of, these big grandiose dreams, but they don't do anything to move towards them. They're never gaining ground on their target, or they'll spend all their time in research mode. There's basically kind of this production side and consumption side. And most people spend a lot more time on the consumption side. They're studying, they're listening to podcasts, they're attending webinars, maybe they're reading books or articles, but they're not taking what they're learning. They're not taking what they observed at a seminar and took notebooks worth of notes on. They're not putting it into action, so they're not applying it and reaping the rewards, because it's not what you know, it's what you do. It's what you apply. So take action on a continual basis. It doesn't have to be massive. We talk very regularly about having a big 3 each day, and that's the stuff we want to move forward on. It's not the things that we're doing to sustain where we are. We've already plotted those in our calendar, but with the remaining time, we want to have 1, 2, 3 different things that we're doing in any given day to take action towards our goals. And finally, the 5th tip I have for you is know your numbers. You don't need to be a spreadsheet enthusiast. You don't need to scour over that stuff constantly, but there are probably 3 to 5 numbers that you can look at in your business and have a really good handle as to whether or not you're making progress. There are objective measures to know that you're moving towards where you want. And invariably, when I talk to business owners that struggle, they usually are not people who have a great handle on their numbers. They don't know their retention rate. They don't know how many leads they got last month. They don't know their closing percentage. So pick 3 to 5 numbers that you are confident can give you a snapshot of the health of your business, of the rewards of the effort that you're putting in. Because let's face it, if you know your numbers, you become more efficient and more effective, because you can spend more time on what's working and move away from what's not. So 5 tips to help you be more successful in 2021. I know I'm going to be focused on them, and I suggest you do as well. Thanks for watching. If you click the first link in either the description or the link in the pinned comment, you can get my latest book, The Ideal Business Formula, for free. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button for me. If you have any questions or comments or video requests, leave me a comment below and I'll be quick to respond. And lastly, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm posting videos weekly now, and if you turn your notification bell on, you'll be sure to get them all.